Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's question comes from one of our curious viewers, Aaron Josh 32. Thanks for the suggestion, Aaron. You asked, why do we call small appetizers finger foods? It's a great question. The name sounds simple, maybe even obvious, but when you really think about it, it's kind of weird. Like, why name food after the body part we use to eat it? Imagine if we called soup spoon stew or spaghetti fork strings. So today, we're unraveling the tasty tale behind the term finger food. From ancient history to cocktail parties to that time you ate an entire tray of mini quiches alone on your couch. Right here on Explaining Everything. Let's start with the basics. What even is finger food? Finger food is any small bite-sized item meant to be eaten with your hands. No utensils, no plate, and no judgment. These are the MVPs of parties, buffets, and social gatherings. We're talking sliders, deviled eggs, cocktail sausages, samosas, dumplings, spring rolls, basically anything you can discreetly inhale while pretending to make small talk. But here's the thing, if we're being honest, any food can become finger food if your standards are low enough. Cold pizza? Finger food. Leftover fried chicken at 2 a.m. Finger food. Even cheesecake, though that one comes with a side of shame and regret. So while finger food has a definition, it also has a vibe. It's casual, portable, and very easy to overeat without realizing it. Now, to the real meat of the question. Why do we call it finger food? The term finger food didn't just fall from the sky like a perfectly baked mozzarella stick. It began appearing in English around the early 20th century, but it really took off during the glamorous cocktail party era of the 1920s and 30s. Picture this: flapper dresses, jazz music, men with names like Chester, and lots of tiny, fancy snacks. At these parties, people needed food that didn't interrupt the flow of conversation or required two hands. Holding a martini in one hand and a tiny canapé in the other became the symbol of modern, elegant socializing. Enter finger food. Easy to grab, easy to chew, and absolutely perfect for drinking while pretending you understand abstract art. The name simply described what it was. Food you eat with your fingers. Practical, yes. A little creepy if you overthink it. Also, yes. But here's a fun twist. Eating with your hands isn't new. In fact, it's probably the oldest dining technique of all time. Long before forks, knives, or salad spinners, humans just used the best tools they had: their hands. Ancient Romans, for example, hosted massive feasts where people lounged on couches and popped roasted delicacies into their mouths with their fingers. No forks, just vibes. In India, Ethiopia, the Middle East, and many Southeast Asian cultures, hand eating is still a beautiful, normal part of the dining experience. There's ritual, technique, and a certain grace to it. It's not uncivilized. It's intentional. So in a way, finger food isn't some modern invention. It's just a Western society finally catching up to the rest of the world. But only for bite-sized portions that fit on a toothpick. So, does food have to literally be eaten with fingers to be considered finger food? Not exactly. Toothpicks, skewers, mini forks, these all count. It's more about the intention than the method. If the food is small enough to be eaten in 1 or 2 bites, doesn't require utensils, and won't immediately ruin your shirt, then it passes the finger food test. Of course, that doesn't mean it's mess-free. Let's be real. There's always that one item on the tray that looks innocent but turns into a crime scene the second you bite into it. Melty cheese, mystery fillings, sauces that launch themselves like rockets. It's a high-risk game. Still, even when they're messy, they qualify. Finger food is more of a category based on experience than a strict set of rules. If you can wander around a party and eat it without making eye contact with a plate, you're good to go. Fast forward to today, and finger food is everywhere. Weddings, birthday parties, corporate events, school gatherings. There's no situation that can't be improved by a tray of mini tacos. Even fast food is basically finger food on steroids. Burgers, fries, nuggets. These are just finger food that grew up and got a job at a drive-thru. It's the same principle, just with more grease and the occasional regretful detour through the 24-hour window. Then there's the upscale version, hors d'oeuvres. Same concept, but fancier name and 400% higher price tag. You pay $12 for a single shrimp served on a micro toast the size of a postage stamp. That's gourmet finger food, tiny, elegant, and somehow always served by a waiter who looks like they judge you for taking 3. Despite the risks, finger food remains a beloved part of modern eating. Why? Because it's simple, it's social, it's portable, informal, and forgiving. You don't need a table. You don't need silverware. You just need an appetite and a few free fingers. Finger foods make you feel like you're grazing at life's buffet, sampling a bit of everything without ever fully committing. Plus, they encourage sharing. You pass the tray, offer a bite, break the ice with a stranger over a suspiciously fancy meatball. They bring people together, spark conversations, and turn awkward silences into opportunities for snack-related bonding. Finger food says, hey, relax, have a good time, no cutlery required. So there you have it. The name finger food may sound silly, but it comes from a long, delicious history of eating with our hands. From ancient Roman banquets to jazz-age cocktail parties to that late-night fridge raid you don't want to talk about. It's all finger food, baby! If you enjoy this video, or if you've ever accidentally eaten 40 mozzarella sticks while just having a bite, please like and subscribe. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.